People fear those who see too much because such individuals move through the world with a rare kind of awareness. They don't just look, they observe. They don't just hear, they listen. They don't just accept what is shown. They search for what is hidden. And that level of perception can be deeply unsettling to those who live behind layers of illusion, denial, or carefully curated identities. Most people spend their lives creating versions of themselves they want others to believe. They perform confidence even when they feel insecure. They project happiness even when they feel lost. They pretend to be strong even when they are breaking inside. But someone who sees too much notices the cracks beneath the performance. When such a person enters a room, they pick up on the subtle shifts in energy that others ignore. They see the tension behind a forced smile. They sense the hesitation in a perfectly constructed sentence. They recognize the gap between someone's words and their true intention. And while they may stay silent, their presence itself acts like a mirror. They reveal the truth without saying a single word. This is why people feel exposed around them. They fear that their flaws, insecurities, and hidden motives are visible. They fear that the stories they've built around their identity might fall apart under this quiet scrutiny. People who see too much are not fooled by social masks. They can identify when someone is pretending to agree, pretending to care, or pretending to be kind. They recognize manipulation because they see the emotional fingerprints it leaves behind. They see the ego's hunger for validation. They notice the subtle power plays woven into tone and timing, and they sense when someone's actions are rooted in fear rather than genuine intention. Because of this, others often feel judged, even when no judgment is present. The fear comes not from what the observer might say, but from what they might know. Most people are not afraid of being disliked. They are afraid of being seen. They are afraid of someone understanding them better than they understand themselves. They are afraid of someone noticing the parts of them they try to bury, their insecurity, their resentment, their jealousy, their guilt, their longing, their loneliness. To be seen fully means being vulnerable. And vulnerability feels dangerous because it leaves no place to hide. Those who see too much are like emotional X-rays. They reveal what lies beneath, and this revelation threatens the fragile balance people maintain between who they are and who they pretend to be. People fear you when you notice the things they wish were invisible. They fear you when you read silence more accurately than words. They fear you when you pay attention to what they dismiss. And they fear you when your awareness exposes truths they have avoided for years. Those who see too much carry a clarity that disrupts illusions. And in a world built upon illusions, clarity is the most intimidating force of all. Another reason people fear those who see too much is because such individuals disrupt the comfort of collective illusions. Most of society functions on unspoken agreements to ignore certain truths, to follow certain behaviors, and to accept certain narratives without questioning them. People agree to laugh at things that aren't funny, to admire things that aren't meaningful, to follow trends they don't care about, and to participate in social dynamics that feel empty. These agreements allow people to fit in, to avoid conflict, and to maintain a sense of belonging. But those who see too much do not follow these silent contracts. They question what others accept without hesitation, and they notice inconsistencies in the rules everyone else follows blindly. People fear this because questioning the collective illusion threatens its stability. If one person sees through something, others might begin to see through it too. And this can cause discomfort, insecurity, or even identity crisis. Those who see too much often challenge the assumptions that groups depend on to keep their sense of order. They may notice when a person in power is acting out of ego rather than wisdom. They may recognize when a group's values are just performance, not practice. They may call out hypocrisy, manipulation, or dishonesty without even intending to. They simply speak the truth that others avoid. This ability makes them unpredictable, not because they are dangerous, but because they cannot be controlled through social pressure or group expectations. They will not gossip just because everyone else is gossiping. They will not pretend something is acceptable when it clearly isn't. They won't inflate egos, play along with drama, or feed into emotional games. Their independence of thought threatens people who rely on group approval to feel secure. When someone cannot be manipulated by fear, guilt, or pressure, they become harder for others to influence, and what cannot be controlled is often feared. People are also intimidated by those who refuse to be distracted. Most individuals avoid their inner world by drowning themselves in noise, constant entertainment, endless conversations, superficial relationships, and a cycle of distractions that prevent them from pausing long enough to face themselves. But those who see too much have already spent time in their inner world. They have confronted their shadows, questioned their beliefs, and sat with their pain. This gives them a groundedness that others find unsettling. When someone has faced themselves deeply, they do not fear external judgment. They do not react emotionally to every situation. They do not seek validation from every person they meet. Their stillness becomes a kind of quiet power. And this power makes people uneasy because it exposes how unstable and reactive they themselves are. When someone is deeply aware, it highlights the unawareness in others. When someone is deeply honest, it exposes the dishonesty others use to protect themselves. When someone no longer clings to illusions, it makes others question why they cling so tightly to theirs. People fear those who see too much because such individuals break the spell that society desperately tries to maintain. They carry truth where others carry stories. They carry awareness where others carry fear. And awareness in a world built on avoidance is always intimidating. People fear those who see too much because such individuals cannot be deceived, controlled, or manipulated. And this creates a sense of powerlessness in others. Society is built on subtle forms of influence, emotional pressure, social expectations, unspoken rules, and collective conditioning. Most people rely on these tools, consciously or unconsciously, to maintain relationships, gain approval, or feel secure. But people who see too much are not moved by these tactics. Their inner clarity gives them a kind of immunity that unsettles others. When someone cannot be guilt-tripped, they become threatening to those who use guilt as a tool. When someone cannot be flattered into compliance, they become a challenge to those who depend on charm to get their way. When someone sees manipulation coming from a distance, the manipulator loses their power. And when someone recognizes emotional games immediately, the game collapses. People fear this collapse. Not because they want to harm others, but because they depend on these mechanisms to maintain their identity and control their environment. Those who see too much are also not impressed by surface-level qualities. They are not seduced by status, titles, popularity, or external achievements. They see beyond the surface to the person beneath. This creates discomfort for those who have built their identity entirely on external validation. When someone sees through all the layers of performance, the carefully maintained image loses its meaning. People fear being around someone who is not blinded by appearances, because appearances are what they rely on to feel worthy. Another reason people fear those who see too much is because such individuals often speak truth, even when the truth is inconvenient. Their words challenge illusions. They illuminate the contradictions people hope to keep hidden.